So now when human children are born, they have very few abilities. I mean, all they can do is perceive and cry. um, they can't speak and explain their upsetness. They can't walk and talk and do things for themselves. They depend on their parents. They rely completely on mommy to solve their problems. And so when a newborn baby's eyes can only focus at a distance of 30 centimeters, which is exactly where mommy's face is when she's breastfeeding. So everything is a blur, but mommy's face stands out. And the same for hearing and smell and taste and touch. The child's entire perception is fine-tuned to for relationship, connection with mother. And so when the child is distressed and upset and cries, the maternal instinct is to respond. And so if baby is upset about something like in pain or itching or any kind of discomfort or hot or cold or hungry. So let's say a baby is hungry and she cries out, and a responsive mother immediately goes and picks up the child and starts breastfeeding, and oxytocin is released in both their brains, and suddenly they are in this beautiful, blissful bubble in a zone of their own, a zone of warm, connected attunement. And this child gets the sense that I do sometimes feel bad, but it's quickly transformed back into good. And what's happening neurologically is the child's brain is constantly making connections between different parts of the brain, and they estimate that a baby's brain is making 1,000 connections a second or something like that. It's bizarre, it's mind-boggling, but it means that the actions of Mother Dearest, her feelings, her emotions, her nurture, her soothing, it's all building neurological networks, pathways in the brain that the child is going to use. So another writer, Patricia Romano-McGraw, she says that it's mirroring the mother's state. The child borrows the mother's calming and soothing networks and emotional self-regulation. And now in the case where the mother is not responsive, for whatever reason, it's very difficult. Motherhood, childbirth, labor, pregnancy, it's hard work, man. Us guys will never understand it, man. But yeah, when a woman is pregnant, then by the 3rd month, her tummy is expanding, her body is swelling, she's getting nauseous and throwing up, and it's affecting her routines. By 6 months in, she can't do many of the things that she normally does, and she's carrying this heavy weight, she's tired, she doesn't sleep properly, it's uncomfortable and all of that. And there's still 3 months to go, and then it's labor and pregnancy. Yeah, it's so painful. When our daughter was born, the doula told me to sit behind my wife on the bed, and so I was, and she reached back and she's holding onto my shoulders, and so it was like probably like an hour, the final stretch. But whenever she pushed, then she'll dig into my shoulders. It was painful, but nothing compared to what she went through, I'm sure. Yeah, and then motherhood, so like some mothers, the whole ordeal of it brings up their own mothering patterns, and sometimes the maternal instinct can't doesn't kick in the way it should, the way it does for other mothers. And so this mother, she doesn't really hear the child crying, or if she hears, she doesn't immediately respond, or if she responds, she does so mechanically, and maybe she doesn't hold the child and breastfeed, she just does the bottle. And so this child spends a lot of time in discomfort and in what's the word, not protest, like crying out for help. And after crying so much, the child gets exhausted and just shuts the hell up because there's no response. So this child gets the sense that I do sometimes feel good, but it's quickly transformed back into bad again. And the neurological pathways for emotional expression, emotional self-regulation, relational, interpersonal, social skills all remain kind of blunted, stunted. They don't develop as they should.